Hey y'all, this is Upstart Records, and this is our new podcast,
The Youth Movement,
a show that covers youth everything, what's happening, what's good, and what's popping in the Bay Area. This is our voice, our show, The Youth Movement.
The Youth Movement.
The Youth Movement.
The Youth Movement is a podcast that explores San Francisco youth culture by interviewing people with the confidence and opinions. Our show focuses on things that matter to us, our neighborhoods, our education, and other young people who are active following their dreams. Today we're going to introduce you to some young artists in San Francisco. Each of these artists is affiliated with an arts organization called Youth Art Exchange. The Youth Art Exchange is an organization where professional artists come together with high school students to make art throughout San Francisco. We went out to meet these artists at the 15th Annual Youth Art Exchange Summit. The summit is an event where art organizations come together to celebrate San Francisco youth artists. Sebastian Pren lives in the Tenderloin. He's co-founder of an arts collective called G that celebrates youth culture and the arts. He and his collaborator Alma Poses are trying to give exposure to young artists in San Francisco. The G Collective is spreading the message of the importance of education, peace, and celebrating culture. We also met Francis Caladron, an artist who volunteers with the Youth Art Exchange. Francis is trying to use the knowledge and skills he gained during this time at the Youth Art Exchange to create new work that will launch his career and help him get into college. Let's hear their stories told in their own words.
I am Sebastian Pereira, and I am at the Youth Art Exchange here in Soma Arts. I am a young artist from San Francisco, Tenderloin, and I'm also a student City College. Right now we're having the 15th celebration of the Youth Art Exchange, 15-year anniversary of the Youth Art Exchange. Art for me, it's me. I don't know. I just feel like without art, it wouldn't be me. The one we have in this art show is it's a Latina woman. Well, she's Mexican, a Mexican woman that was in the revolution, but also as time evolves, she still, as with the khakis, with the Cortezes, that kind of represents like the Mexican American view of like people here living here, like you're still living in the hoods and the barrios. So we're kind of expecting that us Latino people, we're still fighting for something, but not fighting for to harm people. We're fighting here we're fighting for a future, a better future, to come out. Come out the hood, come out where we live at. We made G just because there's not a lot of artwork coming from there's not a lot of artwork coming from where we live at, like Tenderloin. I don't know. I just feel like G right now we're small, but it might get big. We will get big. The message we're trying to spread is mostly education. Education is important. Second of all is peace, and third of all is culture. Because, everybody has their own culture, and we're trying to express our culture, not as a Mexican, but more of a Mexican that is raised here in America. So we're kind of more of a Americanized, but, we want to show that we also come from our roots, but also we're here and trying to show that we can do something more than we can just do something more just on an educational way, but we can actually spread it more. Because not a lot of youth kind of are closed-minded right now. A lot of this culture right now, the hip-hop, rap, that's a lot of telling you F the government, F females, this we're not trying to spread that. We're trying to spread women are wonderful, and then we're just trying to spread love. Well, first we're starting off on Instagram, then I guess later on we're gonna make a website. Because when I used to go to Galileo, we had they taught me how to do web design, so I still have that, and I still have all the web designs on my house, so we can do our own website. Then also we can just spread to every school, because it's just mostly first it started as a club, to show young artists come out and show all your artwork, because I know there's a lot of talented artists that are not even known yet, so we want to give support to the people that don't have it. Personally, I take art to a different level just because if you have something, then grab into it until you die, because that's you. Nobody's gonna take that away from you because that's you. And I think art for me is just makes me safe. That's what I say. It makes me safe, and then helps me kind of relax on like what's really happening in the world. If something's happening in the world, I can be like, oh, I'm gonna draw this scene right here, then draw it out, and then I'd be like, show everybody, be like, this is what's happening, and I feel like art is a strong way to show that.
My name is Alma Pozos, and I would define myself as an artist/student because I'm always learning. Today we are at the Youth Art Exchange exhibition. This is my first year doing printmaking. One of the main pieces I've created is called Luz Esperanza, and it's a combination of a soldadera and a veteran, like a chola. They're Mexican. They represent like revolution and just light and a change. I'm Mexican, and I've always had this vision for a better tomorrow, and I feel like art is like a very powerful tool, and I feel like everyone loves art. So if we put subliminal messages in pictures and just make people wear them or buy them, then they can see it and just like it'll plant like a little seed in their heart for a better change, to fight for what they want and to never give up and to not forget where they come from. That would be like my main thing. Never forget where you come from. One thing I should let people know about today's era and teenagers in San Francisco is that we are diverse and we won't settle for less. And we're starting little from the bottom, and we're getting all these things we see in the streets, and we're not settling for that. We're fighting for better things, you know. For example, we're getting involved into these kind of things and more into hobbies, and we're moving away from the trouble that we see every day because we're tired of that, you know. So therefore we're fighting for our communities without the violence and action. So we're taking pictures and making art and putting quotes to them that make people think. And I feel like our minds are getting more aware of what we're put through by the government, and we're just not selling for that, you know. But it's starting like soon, and I feel like a change is gonna come, and us, the teenagers, with the help of the older people, are gonna make a real change one day. Yeah, so that's one thing I would want. We are doing the We Are Here theme, and we want to show people that we are here, you know, even though we might not have a lot of materials, and like we're learning how to not be materialistic, but our ideas and our qualities and our skills, they're worth more than things like that. So that's one thing that We Are Here represents, our culture, our heritage, and we want to show that from all different types of arts, visual arts and performing arts. One of the main reasons I want to do is I want to make myself a legacy, you know, and I just want to make my time be more interesting and just explore different areas in life and just get to know more people and different perspectives. That's why it's important to me. But I wanted to go to my community, and there's some people that I know, like homeless, that I've been knowing ever since I got there, that have stayed loyal to those streets. I would want to get to know more about them and like where they come from, and just get to know a depth of them, you know. That would be my target for this event. Like, I want to get to know them better. Just because we live in not so appealing neighborhoods, there's people in there that are worth thousands of, not even money, they're priceless, you know. We want to get noticed by that, and we want to touch their hearts to not think bad of us, you know.
My name is Francis Ernesto Calderon. I am a volunteer at the Youth Art Exchange. I was part of their classes But since I graduated high school, I could no longer be part of it since it's only free art classes for their high school students. Now that I'm a volunteer, it's not actually volunteer, I actually work for them because I help the students. I'm a TA pretty much for the printmakers, and if they need any help in the office, I'll be there for them. They grant a lot of opportunities that I didn't think they would actually offer. Like, they offered me a Baycat internship. So, like, they led me to that internship. I like making printmaking. I like watercolors. I like doing my own art, pretty much. In printmaking, there's screen printing and there's press printing. And those are two different things. Screen printing is when you put the artwork on a screen and then you ink it up and then you just ink it up on paper or t-shirts. It's pretty much anything that you could possibly think of. Printing press, it's like you have a platform and you have to build up the surface or scratch away the surface to where you want to put the ink and how you want to make the image. It determines on which high school you go to. My high school, Abraham Lincoln High School, we did not have a printing press or a screen printing area, but we did have photography, so that was a good thing. I actually want to make my own project. I'm thinking of like homelessness. I find it sad that like there's people that they're on the streets. Some were actually talented people. Some actually worked hard, they had families, and now they're just on the streets and they're ignored. People just walk by, they have stories, and yet they're treated like nothing. My artwork has sort of like a sort of mood to it. It sort of speaks, it's sort of, some people say it's deep. I just think it's sort of depressing to look at it. Like, if you look at it, you see, oh, that's sad. And then you start to look at the smaller details that are inside of my artwork. And usually I hope that people would just continue to admire it and realize that there's a whole message behind that artwork that I'm trying to do. Well, I drew once a girl that was depressed. Like, she looked sad. And like, people just, when I just was drawing her, people came up and like looked and they said, oh, why is she sad? Why is she like that? And I couldn't answer it because it was her sadness, not my sadness. And yet it was bringing attention. And like, I actually wanted to use depression as a portfolio piece, but I didn't know how to incorporate that. But I'm sort of like building up an idea as I go through college and like printmaking and like volunteering, because like there's all these different medias that I'm learning, and like each media will slowly like bring like an idea to my head. Today's the event is Soma Arts Youth Art Exchange Summit. So it's pretty much when all the classes that the Youth Art Exchange they exhibit them, show their artwork, and like possible like people are able to come and buy the pieces that the students made. They get so it's 80-20. 80% of it goes to the students, 20% goes to the organization. There's photography, there's printmaking, there's fashion design, there's architecture, there's Latin music, they do dancing, and I believe that is it. But they usually change. It determines if they have enough funding or like if the students are interested in these medias. Not everyone in high school has the opportunity to actually experience art. Young adults should feel like they are artistic, because like people, they automatically assume that they can't be artistic. Like, you have to learn it from the very beginning. But I feel like you can start anytime when you're in high school, when you're a young adult, or even when you're older. It doesn't matter, but like you can always continue.
In her essay, Change the Culture, Change the World, Bay Area artist Fabiana Rodriguez said, "You may attend a rally or vote, but you also read books, listen to music, engage with the visual arts, turn on the radio, and create your identity through culture. Artists are central, not peripheral, to social change. To have the movements that make the wave, you need culture workers." At the Youth Movement, we're going to take you on a tour of San Francisco's culture by letting you hear from the artists and organizations to get a closer look to see how change is being made in the city through youth.
The Youth Movement is produced by Noelia Gonzalez, Cameron Collier, Nasina Chambers, Wendy Baker, and Eric Cortez. Our theme music is produced by Cameron Collier. This podcast is recorded at Upstart Records, a project of Sunset Youth Services. You can follow us at Facebook or Instagram at Upstart Records. Today, We want to give a special shout out to the production crew. My mom, Nasina Chambers, Cam the Man, Chaz, Sunset Youth Services, and everyone that supports this podcast because, it's simply lit. But we want to give a special shout out to Nani for giving us the great idea of creating the podcast, which used to be named the Nani Quiet Show, but sadly we had to change it since she had to leave. And but we all miss you. We can't wait for you to come back, champ. We also want to give a big shout out to our funders, Youth Empowerment Fund. Thank you all.